You have been telling yourself that when you have more, you will give more. When the debt is smaller, when the income is higher, when you are in a better position. The widow in Mark 12 did not have a better position coming. She had 2 coins, and she gave both of them. Jesus called it the largest gift in the room, not because of what she gave, but because of what she kept. The temple treasury in Jerusalem was public. Mark 12:41 tells us that Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. He watched, deliberately. Many rich people threw in large amounts. The Greek word for threw in is ballo, to cast, to throw, to deposit without ceremony. Large amounts, deposited with the ease of people for whom large amounts were easy. Jesus watched all of it and said nothing about any of it. Read that again. Part 1. 2 coins, and the Greek tells you exactly what they were worth. Mark 12:42. A poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. The Greek word for the coins is lepta, lepton, singular, the smallest unit of currency in circulation in 1st century Judea. 2 lepta was the equivalent of 1 quadrans, 1/64th of a denarius. A denarius was a day's wage for a common laborer. 2 lepta was approximately 4 minutes of paid work. This is not a rounding error. This was the floor of what could be given, the minimum possible denomination in the entire Roman monetary system. But here is what nobody told you. The widow did not give 1 lepton. She gave 2. She could have kept 1, half of everything she had, and still given something. The text is specific about this. She chose to give both, not because she had surplus, not because she had a plan for tomorrow, but because she gave from a place the wealthy givers in that room had never visited. And Jesus was watching for exactly that. Part 2. Jesus called his disciples over, and his language was deliberate. Mark 12:43-44. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. All those who gave did so out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." 2 words carry the entire theological weight of this statement: out of their wealth, out of her poverty. The Greek for out of their wealth is ektuperishontos, from the overflow, from the surplus, from what remained after everything else was covered. The Greek for out of her poverty is ektes hysteresios autes, from her deficiency, from her lack, from what was already not enough. Now stop. Many of you will push back on this. Good. Because this is genuinely uncomfortable. Was it wise for this woman to give her last 2 coins to an institution that did not need them? The Jerusalem temple at this point in history was one of the wealthiest institutions in the ancient world. The widow's 2 lepta did not keep the lights on. So was Jesus praising her financial wisdom? Or something else entirely? Tell me in the comments what you actually think. Part 3. The wealthy gave out of what remained. She gave out of what was needed. This is the distinction Jesus made visible that day. The wealthy did not sacrifice to give. They calculated what was appropriate, what was expected, what was manageable, and gave that. Their lifestyle remained intact after the offering. Their tomorrow was already secured before the coins left their hands. They gave from a position where giving cost them nothing essential. Think about that for a second. The widow gave from a position where giving cost her everything essential. Jesus did not praise the amount. He diagnosed the position. The same gift from a wealthy person would have been invisible. not because God does not honor generosity, but because the generosity of the wealthy that day was not actually generosity. It was allocation. What the widow gave was different in kind, not just in size. She gave from deficiency. And that category of giving, Jesus said, exceeds all the giving that comes from surplus. Part 4. The moral dilemma this story refuses to resolve for you. Many of you will push back on this. Good. Because the text does not tell us what happened to the widow after she gave. It does not record a miracle provision. It does not tell us that she went home and found food waiting. It does not give her a name, a restoration, or a follow-up. She gave. Jesus noticed. And the story moves on. The discomfort is intentional. Let that land. This is not a prosperity promise. This is not a formula. Give your last and God will multiply it. Jesus did not say that. What he said was that her gift exceeded all the others. He made an eternal statement about the value of what she gave, not a temporal promise about what she would receive. It refuses to be a transaction. It insists on being a revelation about what generosity actually is. And most of us have been practicing something else and calling it the same name. Type AMN. If you are claiming this, that real generosity is not measured by what you give, but by what giving costs you. Part 5. What she kept, and why that is the number Jesus was watching. Jesus said, she gave all she had to live on. The Greek is holanton bionos. Her whole life, her whole living, her entire means of sustaining herself. The 2 coins, dents, were not a contribution towards something larger. They were the whole thing. Every financial safety net she had, every buffer between her and tomorrow. She placed it in the treasury and walked away from the position of security into the position of complete reliance. That is what Jesus pointed at. Not the coins, the position she walked into after releasing them. Part 6. The context Jesus placed this in changes everything. Mark 12 opens with Jesus warning his disciples, Sinbao, and the teachers of the law who devour widows' houses. He then immediately sits down and watches the treasury. And a widow appears. This is not coincidental placement. The same system that Jesus had just condemned for exploiting widows was the system this widow was giving to. She was giving to an institution whose leadership Jesus had just criticized for taking from people like her. And Jesus still called it the greatest gift in the room. Part 7. 2 coins and 2,000 years of record. The wealthy givers that day are anonymous. Their large amounts are unrecorded. Their names are not in the text. What survives from that afternoon in Jerusalem is 2 lepta and the woman who gave them. Not because the coins were large, because the position they were given from was one nobody else in that room was willing to occupy. She did not wait for a better position. She gave from the worst one she had. And that position, Jesus said, is the one God sees most clearly. Here is what this passage does not promise you. It does not promise that giving your last will produce a return on a timeline you can plan around. What it promises is this, that the position from which you give is seen. That giving from deficiency is not invisible to God, even when it is invisible to every system around you. If you want to understand what God does when you have been faithful inside an unjust arrangement with no guarantee of return, watch the video on screen now. Jacob worked 20 years for a man who changed his wages 10 times. What God built inside that injustice changed everything. Drop "I receive this" in the comments if you are choosing today to stop waiting for a better position and start giving from the one you are in.